Welcome back, everyone. After a while and a little late, to episode 79 of Unravel. Today, I have to check whether or not the audio is working. So that's one important thing.
I mean, you should do that.
I should do that. But also, most of you leveled up.
Yeah.
All of you leveled up, to be fair. At the start of your
Charlie.
at the start of your next.
I'm still level 10.
At the end of your next long rest, you'll actually become level 11. But there's one person who hasn't rolled for level 11 yet.
Yeah.
And that's me. I want more.
Yeah, roll again.
That's us.
But that's you.
Me. I'll roll again.
So for Bree, another level in Bard, so another D8. Pick one. Be careful.
Yeah, I don't want to do this actually.
Well, you're gonna have to. I mean, you could choose to not gain any hit points if you really want to.
That's awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
You know what the case is, you guys on the stream? I have 61 HP at this point. I have a plus 1.
Seven.
I have a plus 1 on my constitution.
Roll a 7.
So if I roll a 7, it's 69. That's
Roll a
okay.
7.
To be fair, if you roll like 6 now and 1 next time or 2 next time.
No, you have to
No,
roll
because I
literally
have a plus
0
1
next
on
time.
constitution.
Oh. Then just roll like if you roll a 3 this time,
Seven,
then some low next time.
But it would be great if I rolled a 7. So
Yes.
otherwise, I would still stay low with my HP. Okay. Please.
Just don't roll a 2.
By the way, Angie, you're still on mute.
Shush you! I have 69 HP!
There you go.
The power of sex on our side.
The power of sex! Ooh la la.
So,
So now it's actually the power of sex. When I had 69, it
just to
wasn't.
check,
Because I'm a
Who ha-
child.
who has 100 or 110 or more hit points? 110 or more. Who has between 100 and 110?
I have
Two of you.
127 hit points.
Okay. Who has between
Or 26.
90 and 100?
Wait, I had 101.
101. Between 90 and 100?
That's
That's you. Anybody between 80 and 90?
You know,
Anybody
it's
between
weird.
70 and 80?
It's awkward. I have 69
You
HP.
need to do that. You
Plus-
do it.
I like that
12
none of you
temporary
noticed
HP.
until way at the end.
Who has 12 temporary HP all the time? Me!
For an attunement slot.
Still
Yeah.
have the lowest.
You still have, yeah.
I have the most temporary HP.
Good. Fink
Losers.
has less hit points.
I think I have almost double your hit points.
Like I can cast 2 spells and I have that amount
is
of temper.
138.
Yeah, I need 10 more hit points, 12 more hit points, and then I have double your
Okay,
hit
that is
points.
crazy. Okay, but you have a D12?
For
Barbarian?
7 levels I've had a D12.
Yeah,
And
okay.
a good constitution score.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah,
that's
I have a
also a
plus
big
4,
difference.
so...
last session, you guys ventured deeper into the desert, eventually scrying again to be revealed. The scrying attempt was interrupted once again, but it revealed the location of a large ruin. You guys continued your travel there, hoping that this may have been something that Kieran might have found as well, and would have stayed at. You traveled there, eventually sleeping outside of its border, as you found this large circular city in the middle of an oasis. You entered the city, which seemed to be abandoned at that point. Any divination spells you guys cast, you guys found out, were almost immediately dispelled. Upon venturing into the city, you were approached by a group of lightly armored individuals, seems to be wearing some type of uniform in a bluish tint, as well as a large golem, who, upon your mentioning of Kieran, escorted you to the large ruined pyramid. There, bringing you into its sublevels, you eventually encountered 2 lion-like creatures known as sphinxes. They seem to have known Kieran in some capacity, but before revealing more information about that, gave each of you a riddle that would give you, that would allow you to stay in their city. So, just to recap, we'll go by everybody one by one. What was your riddle? So find it if you don't know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your answer?
I don't know what the riddle
I mean,
was,
I
but
know where
the answer.
my riddle is. It's walking right there.
Well, first, you had a riddle.
Yeah. Do you want to read it or shall I read it? Because I have it on my phone.
You can go for it.
Can look it up real quick. Oh, what was that?
What was that?
My charger.
No.
Okay.
My charger.
Mike Charger.
Shh. I come as I go, you can feel me and you can lose me. Those who can sense me in the air, bring a party its needed flair. I can be the tapping of your feet or the bumps in the street. What am I?
Your answer was?
Rhythm.
A rhythm. Zero.
When I begin, I am large. I may need the breath to recharge. I can be short, I can be long. I can be the substance of a song. But when I go, I always got a point. I'm a 10.
Yours, you figured out really quickly.
Yes. I have no lungs, yet I breathe. I have no pulse, yet I live. I can cause unlimited destruction, but I'm essential in construction.
Your answer was?
Fine.
Angie. It's essential in some things. Okay.
I'm a child!
Okay. Angie, what was yours?
You can lose me in an instant, but I can be found in a moment. I am essential all your life. You need me most when you are in strife. I am the first outside the boom and the last before your tomb. What am I? Breath.
Breath.
A moment.
Utzel. Goddamn.
Sure.
Sure.
I mean, I found this image of Dog Dimmadome right after this.
Oh.
Can I submit that as an answer?
If you're willing to suffer its consequences.
I'm Dog Dimmadome.
I can be given but not taken. When you need me, you don't have me. You can find me or you can get me. I am always right, and I am a riddle's blight. What am I?
Your answer was?
Answer.
That's dumb.
I think it should be truth, but answer is the
Yours.
I don't have mine because my phone is dead.
Because your phone is dead.
And the paper with it down on
Dang.
it's not here anymore.
It's Among Us.
Does anybody else have hers?
No!
Did I send it to you privately?
Yeah.
Write these? Didn't you have like a?
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
So shouldn't you have them?
Yes, but I need to because it's an WhatsApp call, right? So I need to go way back to.
Way back.
Yeah, you should.
It was
Yeah.
last session was
You have
before
lots of conversations.
last session was a year ago. Okay.
Oh, I get
No.
that one. That's a funny. Just like my
wasn't.
shower.
It was last year.
Even if you can just remember one word,
Wait.
you can just search that word.
Something with King. If you just search King, I don't think King, we write King a lot.
I don't
Ah,
think I-
shit, that's every day as well.
Hey, hi King. How you doing, King?
Greetings, Spike.
Right. I was looking for a message that you sent me, but I sent you the
Yeah,
message.
you sent me the message.
Your riddle was: I cost nothing, but I am priceless. No merchant sells me, but a king can take me. One may try to keep us apart, but in the end, you will always find me. What am I?
I knew
Freedom.
it!
That's the only one you didn't get. You hadn't found out yourself yet.
No, I just knew it when you get it.
All of you give in one by one answer to the Sphinx's name, Sphinx's question. Upon which they kind of like
They're
lean,
all wrong.
step back slightly, and he goes, "You've all answered correctly." For that, you are allowed access into the city. And you have questions of Kieran.
Yes, I did.
What do you wish to know?
What way he is, or if I can talk to him, if he's still alive.
At the moment, Kieran no longer resides in this city.
That is unfortunate.
Where he went exactly is unbeknownst to him. He stayed here for quite some time, together with his companion. In that time, he taught at the academy within the city, before somewhat mysteriously disappearing overnight. We do not often leave the city. try to keep it hidden, and people wandering around the desert is not that much of a disguise. So we do not know where he is right now.
That is unfortunate.
However, being somebody who's more intimately familiar with him, you are free to investigate yourself. You access to his office as well as his apartment.
No. You said his companion also joined you? Joined him?
Ice was here for a couple of years as well.
Oh, she did. I thought she never answered the question.
Yeah, so did I.
No, she answered successfully. However, she insisted on departing from us, keeping the knowledge of where we are located. It was just something, a secret we hold most dear. We have access to the city. Leaving with its knowledge is another matter entirely, which is something we'll get to when we get to it. Until then, you must have ventured quite a bit. As I said, you have access to Kieran's apartment. Herolith, the...
Can I have my own?
We are somewhat limited on space.
It's a whole city. Who lives here?
You should expand underground.
Right.
Also,
Not too
I
far,
have a
though.
very important question.
Well, before any of that, we will provide enough bedding for all of you to remain and be able to sleep in his
Didn't they
apartment.
dig too deeply?
You'll... there is food that will be brought to you, and for some time you are guests here.
Cool.
Unless you choose to stay. Until then, Herolith will be your main point of contact. But I think it's more appropriate if you follow me out of this pyramid for a moment.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
More of like a spiritual thing. Would like even the gods not know of this location?
There are forces that protect us that, even to the keenest of eyes, can sometimes hit it. For those among you that do practice religion, or divine worship, or even cast its magic, you're allowed to cast your magic. You're allowed to worship them yourselves. We would appreciate you not spreading the gospel.
Who would I tell? Except all my best friends, who I'm not gonna tell.
But I don't think God necessarily is the gospel.
Well, remember that one village in the swamps?
But
Where you hospitalized the Grung.
just informed them about.
No, that
the
was
god.
Locartha.
Oh, same thing.
But thank you very much for the.
Any other questions?
Yes. What language are you originally speaking?
Oh. I did not forget in the whole 3 seconds I needed to solve this riddle.
When you approached the city, and your rest outside of it did not go unbeknownst to us, so in preparation we made sure that you could understand all languages. Speak all of them. Originally, however, me and my mate, we both speak Celestial.
Don't speak
Oh.
that.
Follow us. And he begins to move kind of like past you. He's only large, so he's the size of a horse. He isn't massive or anything. The golem is about the same size, though it's still blocking the entrance, kind of like steps to the side. And the Sphinx begins to lead you back up the very wide spiral staircase that you descended down into as well. Do you all follow?
Yes.
Okay. The female Sphinx, the giant Sphinx, she kind of like remains on the slanted rock in the back of the room, kind of eyeing you all as you all leave.
You're pretty, bye.
Bye.
She doesn't seem to immediately respond, although noticed that you gave her an acknowledgement. You eventually step out into the opening of this pyramid that's partially ruined. You see the ruined city in front of you. On the stone steps, kind of like sitting, quickly jumping into action is the guard captain you now know as Herolith, as well as his small group of guards kind of like get up and ready. But aside from that, the entire place seems to be abandoned. Before the Sphinx speaks, he goes, "We keep ourselves well hidden. But even we cannot disguise this entire valley as non-existent, so this is the most appropriate. That and our defenses outside the city, which normally deter any random traveler away from here, you managed to push through the rough winds, however.
Buttons and stuff?
Yes. Those are supposed to keep the persons to getting too close from getting too close.
With a magic wall, though.
Make it a little obvious.
Yeah.
I have another
I mean, the
question.
wind's also kind of like...
For a moment. But
They're a little unnatural, the winds. I feel like they could maybe use a little tweaking.
perhaps, but we do not want to kill anybody either. So we wish to keep it somewhat... We're not the first travelers to come here. But he kind of like gets a little bit more on his hind legs and kind of like furls out the wings, and you see like a burst coming out from him, and there's just this radiant burst that kind of like flows over the entirety of the city. And what you see is just this revelation of all the buildings that seem to be just very much fundamentals turn into sometimes 2-3 story high buildings. The walls and towers erect themselves. Just this whole city fills themselves, and you see not as much close to the pyramid or on its steps, but in the streets, just dozens and dozens of people going about. Those with a higher perception, you notice that they are of varying sizes, most likely of varying races, that all just live here combined. Herolith kind of steps forward, going, addressing you all, going, I am happy to see that you all made your way through the house. Not too much of an issue. But they begins to like unbuckle the like mess of scarves and stuff that's around him, which reveals a face of dark complexion, with paler eyes and white tattoos. Still speaking into what each of you would be your native language. The Sphinx turns to him and goes, "Yes, they have access, we've given them that, to Kieran's study and home for them to investigate on his whereabouts, perhaps."
Can I ask a question regarding that?
Of course.
Let's say we want to pursue Kieran again, and we leave the city. Would we forget about everything we've seen here, including the information of Kieran?
We have people here that travel outside the city. May it be necessary for you to accompany them on whatever mission outside the city is required. You will not be taken of your memories. But it's a gesture of goodwill and some trust that...
I also I have something to say and a question.
Yes?
Well, my dragon had this book about you guys, and I saw this page about your location, so that's...
Kind of like leans in. The head of the lion thinks about as big as yours.
That's you. But he was like, there are enemies here, and I was like, huh, which enemies? Because you seem pretty cool. But yeah, he has a whole book, and I haven't stolen the book. I've stolen this page with the location. Can I get that? Can I get that book one day?
I am not familiar with the book. However, dragons, especially old ones...
Oh, he's so old.
We're not... A long time ago, dragons and us were on opposite sides of battlefields. So I'm not surprised if one managed to survive for this long that they would regard us as enemies.
Actually, 2.
Well,
2?
my dragon had the
Too
book.
many. Actually 3.
You know another dragon?
Yeah, no, there's 3 dragons, right?
We know 3 dragons.
We know
This
3
isn't
dragons.
We know of 2 dragons,
Well,
but you don't personally know them.
but you
There's
are both kobolds, but clearly from different colonies.
Yes.
As a black dragon, do they know about us? In the same way that this dragon had this book?
the black dragons
good to keep
lose
it
sight on you now.
Any type of
I could not have.
any type of unassisted scrying or other ways of trying to find our city is blocked.
So,
We
For
noticed.
example, if
You
someone was able to
Where?
look through this gecko's eyes, he couldn't.
They would not be able to know.
The dragon.
Okay, your dragon probably can't either.
We should close down the Steam thing, by the way.
Oh.
No, why?
Sorry, Elkian. Jelly is now truly mine. Yay!
One more question. Considering Kieran isn't here, I tried scrying him.
That
In
would
my,
be then, yeah.
in my attempts, I was blocked, and at first I thought it was the city doing it. But if he's not in the city,
Why would it still be
it must have
blocked?
been something else. I gotta have to explain what happened. It was like whenever I tried to scry on him, there was this shadow, this black smoke that engulfed my vision whole. Does this sound to any way familiar to you? Have you maybe noticed that the leaving of Kieran, anything of such?
Oh, we'll look in his place
We'll
again.
certainly look, but maybe there's something familiar to it.
It in itself seems not familiar to me per se.
Oh, you went
However-
wild shadows.
That shadow led you here? Or attempted...
It did let me here to a degree, but the scrying led me here, which suggested that Kieran was here.
But the scrying would not... You passed through the barrier of wind with your scrying spell?
Once I was close enough, yeah.
That is concerning. As I said, unassisted scrying cannot find us in any way. Would not see in the ruins either. But if you have and there's this shadow, that means you had some assistance. Wanting you to find.
Well,
That's probably not good.
I don't think that was more than it attempting to help me.
Well, maybe it was, you know.
Mordin's profile does not include
No.
shadow too much.
No, that was not more.
It could have been. Maybe
It is of
maybe
concern,
Morgan changed.
but not of our doing. I will speak with my mate. See what we...
You know, maybe Morgan changed.
Perhaps
Hold on.
refrain from scrying on Kieran for the meantime.
I guess so. But I'm also curious if I were to scry now that I'm here. Don't want to cause any trouble if I need to be supervised while doing it, but it understands my curiosity.
I've been told you've noticed that once you are in the city, any type of divination, in or out, is ineffective.
Yes.
Could we have an exception?
Those barriers have been put in place not by me, by someone far more powerful than myself. I cannot tend them down.
Put those barriers in
Just
place.
ask the one who put those barriers there.
They no longer exist.
Was
that's
it
a
Prime
problem.
Minister?
Same person that put us here. Need to put up the barrier to protect us.
Well, apparently not so powerful if they don't exist anymore.
So could, in theory, God aid me in doing it?
A god
I would only ever do it if you allow me
to penetrate through our defenses, in or out. Are you talking about?
I'm just curious what happens if I were to be able to scry within this barrier.
That
If
means
I
that
was-
someone more powerful than us and somebody of a level of god, possibly.
Well, this
Just
smoke
to
maybe
get out.
could be that. Would that be possible?
Again, it's not familiar. We would have to do some research.
I can try.
It's concerning.
Okay, wait, does it kill me if I try it? If it were to block me?
Perhaps. If this shadow looms over you, I do not know the intentions of this shadow.
Neither do I, but it has not been too
Friendly?
welcoming or friendly at all, no. But if you said it aided me getting here, it has a purpose.
It's more like
That it does.
stopping you getting here, but if, yeah.
Apparently it didn't
It
stop
didn't.
me, it helped me.
Why do damage then?
Maybe it did not want to pull out because it wanted to show me more.
Unless you have any other questions.
Yes. Well, I'm assuming some people here are Marcedian, right?
Some of them are.
Yeah, I have a best friend who's also Marcedian, but he was brought back by some creature that we killed.
There's no Marcedians outside the city.
Yes, there is. My best friend. Xante.
Will originate from here.
No. He was
You will do.
he was in a tube and he broke out and then he was in this cave and we rescued him. And the person who put him in that tube for some reason, that person we killed. Because he was evil.
Huh. No, I do not know of that, but it is an interesting thing. In this city, you'll find any manner of travelers and explorers that have made their way here. Shipwrecked individuals that sailed around the continent, eventually crashing on the peninsula. Travelers like you that came by land. Most have decided to stay here. Those who did not ended up like ice.
Another question. Do you have a blood portal here as well?
A what?
A portal that you need to put blood in and then it opens up.
Yeah.
A blood portal. Do you have one?
There's like multiple out there.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of them. We thought they were Marcedian.
Yeah, we thought
They have Marcedian design.
If they are Marcedian, my mate and I were both created near the end of their era. So, if they exist, they do not exist here.
Maybe we could find books on it.
And
Yes.
Do you have a library?
at the academy, we
Okay.
have one. But we do not have one here, and much Marcedian that predated it is lost to us. The origin of whatever that would have been, the origin of whoever created your friend, we are unfamiliar with.
I will find out.
Uh,
I've learned the entire language by myself, basically.
This city merely exists to preserve those who remain
What's
After
the
the
city
war.
called?
of the Mercy. Erilyah.
Maybe you answered it, but about the scrying thing, am I allowed to try it?
You're allowed to try it, but within the city, and if any of it would be shut down. If you have something assisting you, something otherworldly, and it pushes you through our barriers and onto whatever you're scrying on, we do not know what it will do to you, considering it would be beyond our power.
It might take you over.
Also,
Like you know.
how do I spell that?
I have more than
Erilyah.
So
Yeah, because it's his personal bodyguard. Nothing will happen to him.
Eril and then YAH.
Molten doesn't work like that.
The
for you, but for me he does.
Arola steps forward, the guard,
I will do that for you.
and goes, "Well, it is still early in the morning. Would you wish to go to his apartment first, or do you want to settle
I
down
wanna go to the library.
to the
Besides,
academy?"
that's the time you help.
Well, if we
I didn't hear what you said. Sorry.
if we check out the apartment, we can might find clues where he might be.
I want to go for some food.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's eat first, and I said, besides, last 2 times you saved me.
Exactly. No need for anything.
Where to first?
I mean, I'd say like let's settle down for a bit, and then we just went on a long journey. Can we sleep anywhere except for like the apartment?
Arola kind of looks back at the Sphinx and he goes, "We don't have
An inn or something?
travelers that much."
Well, I look around.
Is there a place?
There's a lot of people here, so there must be like there's.
They
travelers.
live here.
Well, they didn't build their home overnight.
Their
Maybe they
homes were
stayed
built long ago.
There isn't any free place for us. That
Free,
isn't this
yes.
apartment. Like there's not inhabited.
I would have to take a look. If you prefer not to stay in what remains of his
I mean,
apartment, we can see if there's something more appropriate. But
I mean, we should.
over the years, it's been quite. We haven't expanded any since the origin of the city. So.
we should treat it like. I mean, we should treat that place like a
A
crime scene.
Right.
Yes.
Jinx.
In which case, it kind of
I
like
don't believe in
the
jinxes.
Sphinx turns to Herolith and goes, "If you would speak with Sarah, she could." Yes, sir.
I mean, We would not stay here for long.
We'll find a place for you to stay in the meantime, and that is not his apartment.
I don't want to disturb it because we need to investigate it as it is
Exactly.
left behind. Because I am a world-renowned detective.
The Sphinx kind of like
your
gets
own
up, looking over the city, and goes, "I will return. We have some to discuss. The shadow. In the meantime, you're welcome to peruse the city, but not leave it.
I wouldn't wish to.
Also, respect our custom and the absence of any religion."
What's the city called again?
Erilyah.
Erilyah.
He goes, "If you find anything about Kieran, let us know."
Yes.
And he begins to leave. Herolith, who was talking with one of his, one of the other guards, who begins to run off. He goes, "It will be some time before they find anything appropriate accommodation for all of you. So, academy first, or his apartment first, or want to wait on this
Let's go to the academy.
academy first. Follow me." As he's walking, he kind of goes. By the way, at this point, the steps to the pyramid are just like smooth, clean, nothing broken like before. You can just step anywhere. Whereas before, you kind of had to like dodge any like holes and stuff.
It's also not an illusion.
No, it's all real.
I mean,
As he's walking
just,
down,
like, fall down.
Herolith kind of goes, "While we're at the academy, some of our students are currently in lessons, so I would appreciate that if, with a group as big as this one, we remain quiet. Within the academy, you'll have
There are classes here?
Speaking very
there are
What do they teach?
a whole manner of subject, from history to archaeology to geography. We try to keep ourselves informed about the world, even though we are far removed from it.
Smiths here.
We do. Some. That mainly work on any required materials for
Where are they?
either construction or... They would be in the artisans ward.
Any
Kind of like
modern
points
history?
over to the front part of the city where you
Okay.
entered.
Also,
Bye.
also
I'll
any
see you
modern
outside.
history. Well, bye. Also modern history.
We try to keep track again of what happens with all the other countries that live on the other side of the continent, but most information that we get has to be obtained from travelers coming in. Which isn't a whole
Well,
lot.
you wouldn't know about the civil war that happened.
No, we've had people since then.
Also, what happened after?
Which
Those
specific
were-
civil war are we talking about?
There was a
The one
civil
that
war
we
in
fixed.
Mornadale.
We're talking about the Genova.
Yeah.
Of that we are not yet informed, but I'm sure there is a professor that would be more than happy to
Well,
note down any of your...
they can speak with Angie.
At the moment we are...
She knows the most.
At the moment we are still... the archaeology classes are going a little slower, considering that was Kieran's subject. For the meantime, because you are not written into any classes, you'll only have access to the library as well as the Kieran's offices.
How do I sign up for classes?
If you choose to stay here more permanently, we can look into that.
Okay.
I am not faculty of the school. So. Eventually, a role leads you into the academy, eventually allowing you. There's this like larger building on the eastern side of the city. There's mainly composed of these three large buildings in this U shape, with this like beautiful garden up front. He leads you into the center building, which basically opens up into a very wide open library. Whilst walking through the city, you are getting some eyes, but you find here that there's humans, there's a few dwarves, there's gnomes, halflings, a few elves, not as many.
How many kobolds?
None. You do not find any kobolds. Not on the first glance.
We're
If they are here, they would be more rare than that.
I
We're
wish to
still-
speak
still
with one of the
special.
halflings.
So I go off to talk to one of them.
Like okay, sure. Whilst you guys are walking, Bree darts off.
No, well, why?
Well, already
Because
lost
she's-
George.
yeah,
Talk
she-
to one
she
of
darts
those,
off.
Halflings.
Um,
I'm curious about.
we'll catch up with that in a moment. The main population here, though, which would be a little over half, you see, are of Mercedian or Mercedian-related descent. Some have lighter complexion, some have pointed ears, some are shorter.
Kinky.
Don't mind me.
Okay.
But there's the main body of this of the city is
I guess why
made
they
up
stayed.
of Mercedians. You're led into the library where you are allowed access. Herolith points you to a hallway in the back of the building that leads to the faculty offices, which also includes Kieran's as of yet abandoned office, which has his name on it, and he gives you a key, which any of you can write down in your inventory,
I'll grab it.
that has access to it. In the meantime, you were going to the Artisan's Wharf. What is your goal there?
My goal is to look around for any smiths.
Okay.
And the smithy. The general, what's happening.
You find that here there's leather workers, there's masons. The main thing that you find is lacking, you find smiths, but the main thing that you find lacking is any woodwork, considering there's not a whole lot of trees around. Aside from that, it's a relatively common artisan's work.
Well,
There's a few different smiths that all seem to have small shops, and perusing through what they have on display, most of them are it's more like an open market kind of deal, so they have a small storefront and are mainly working in the back. At a quick glance, some of them are a lot of it's like simple tools or construction materials. There's one that has some like pieces of weaponry and armor, but you feel like the demand isn't as high. But yeah, that's mainly what you see.
I guess George would look for anything that is very fancy. Something that is maybe even not recognized in terms of smithy.
Okay.
Or leatherwork.
No, make an investigation check. This would involve Smith stuff, so.
Could I guide myself, or is that a...
Yeah, no, you can.
hurt?
Guidance is divination, right? No, guidance would work.
Okay. Is natural 16. Investigation is pretty good. So that is a 25.
Okay, 25. You take a thorough look and you speak with some of them. What you do find is that the three-ish smiths that occupy the main part of the Artisan's Wharf's smiths don't seem to have anything necessarily impressive. They seem to be smithing in their own style. They have a version of the Mercedian style that you've seen around the continent before, but they don't seem to be working with any specialized materials or any specialized processes. We notice that these individuals here have a smithing skill level that is relatively quite a bit below yours, I'd say.
Gonna show them up.
George would definitely ask around, a little talk with them. Maybe hopefully get any information about if there's like a premium. Maybe there's like maybe there's some name or some dude here who's really good at this stuff but doesn't actually excel in the normal stores or the districts.
Alright. Make a charisma check.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Good luck. Can't guide myself for this.
You can.
That'd be weird.
I mean, it's like casting a spell before going to talk to someone. I would say that'd be weird, yeah.
That's cocked.
It would, yeah, charisma.
16.
16. You chat up with a few of them, at which point you realize that it is very rudimentary here. These people have really contained themselves to the city. The only outside information that has come in is from outside travelers. And if they do explain that they know that Mercedians had skill with working with like a variety of specialized metals. Adamantine and Barite do come up in conversation as well as Mithril. Although them knowing how to smith it is lost to them. They have no idea how. For them, that's more like legends managed to do that. There isn't any... Them here is very basic.
Very disappointing.
Yeah.
She'll straddle back to the trains. Yeah.
Sorry. You dart off to talk with one of the halflings. There's like a small group kind of like standing together that see you pass, one of which seems to be of shorter stature. He seems to be a little older, somewhere in his like 40s, 50s. There seems to be some sort of like school uniform here that is made up of like a combination of some like looser fitting clothing that fits more to the climate. He's carrying a couple of books on with him. You approach him, like most of the other group kind of like begins to leave. He notices you approach. He looks back and his friend group's like 10 feet away. Like they're walking the opposite direction, and he kind of like turns back to you and goes, "Hi."
Hello, my name is Bree.
Hi.
What's your name?
Phil.
Phil. Nice to meet you. What
Phil Collins.
You'll be in my heart. No. Hi Phil. I'm new here.
I can see that.
What did it give away?
The lack of a uniform, and the fact that your group was escorted by...
A uniform? What do you wear a uniform for?
We attend the academy here.
Right.
It's just to distinguish people that go here from people that don't.
Okay. So, is it like a good uniform? Or is it like comfortable? Or
It's comfortable, cool enough. And in the highlight of the day, a couple hours later, we'll stay inside to get away from some of the heat. But it's nice.
And what do you study here?
I study history, but as much as we have, at least.
Okay. And have you been here your whole life, or?
No. I've been here since for a few decades now. My family used to travel on a boat. My dad brought me along. We shipwrecked on the coast. We were trying to sail and find resources on the opposite side of the continent, but we found this instead and decided it's comfortable, and we decided to stay.
Nice. Can I join you for today?
I don't think students have a process of applying. I can't be dragging a new person around.
Just assume I am an intern and I follow one day out of curiosity.
That is beyond me. I do not have any authority over that, I'm afraid. If that is something you're interested in, you should speak with school faculty, any teacher or people that work here, so you can have yourself written in. But
so they're pretty serious about that around here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I gotta run. I got a class to go to.
Well, good luck. Enjoy your day.
You too. And then he dipped, catching up with his friends that are giggling 20 feet away.
I wave at them.
Laughing.
Hi.
Some of them wave by.
They're definitely talking about you now.
Great.
They do seem to be continuing to speak in Mercedian.
Okay.
At which point you notice them you cannot understand.
I know.
By the way, he was speaking to you in Halfling.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the two things he was moving between. But that's what you were doing. The rest of you entered into the library, were given Kieran's key, and you're allowed to stay within the library or search his office if you wish.
Well, I know what you want to do, so I'll go to his office.
Do you need my help for that? I can just raid the library and borrow lots and lots and lots of books. I can also just sleep
probably
here.
a good idea to have someone who is not. Are you also good at investigation? We have Bess, so you can go library. I can go with
Bess is an accountant. He's pretty good at it.
Detective. You sure? Do my magnifying glass. A piece of candy.
We can use that with the apartment.
Okay. See you later.
Okay, so you go to Kieran's office.
Yeah.
Okay.
Together with Bess.
Hey, the two of you go to Kieran's office.
And then Angie, I think. Or unless Angie wants to join Zero.
No, I'll assist you.
You guys could go to his office. Eventually, like one of Royal's guards
Is it smart
basically
to leave
like
Angie alone in a unknown library?
Angie's coming with you guys.
No, Zero. I mean, sorry.
Herella stays with her.
Okay.
There's one of his other guards is shadowing you. You eventually find Kieran's
You run
office.
off the
Like
guard.
his name is written on the little plate. That's bolted to the front of the door. You go up to the door. It's,
I'll wait.
yeah, you kind of like have to. I mean, it's like a little
It's
crooked, so you
not
kind of have to like
even
put it
fake.
back.
Huh. Good for him.
You put in the key, at which point the door opens, and you enter into a small room that has like a little. It has 2 chairs. It has a desk with a seat. There's nothing on it currently, except for a thick layer of dust. There's some books in the in like a small bookshelf, like behind the desk. That's what you enter into. Nothing that immediately catches your eye, except for the fact that it's been abandoned for a while.
Yeah, was there someone else with us?
Yeah, there's 3 of you and one of Herella's guards.
Yeah. So I'll turn. So how long ago did he disappear?
Kind like thinks to himself. To my recollection, he left a little over a year ago. 2 years. Some time ago. It's something of note. Please do not smoke here. There's a lot of paper and.
Yeah, it's a vape.
It's a vape.
He
It's
left.
electronic.
He left
What's a
some
vape?
time ago, and whenever somebody leaves, it's commotion for a while. But I never met the man. He left. But since then, as far as I'm aware, nobody has filled his open position.
So okay. How should we do this? You're the investigative one.
No.
Where do we start? I don't know. We're good at archaeology, not like digging up this kind of.
I'll let the 2 of you think about that. As you enter into the library, you're shadowed by Herolith, who's following you around.
Whenever you try to grab a book,
He's not keeping you from doing anything. He's keeping an eye on you.
Don't touch the books.
I want this book. I want that book. I want this book. It's getting heavy. Mage hand. I want that book.
I mean, some you require mage hand for because you can simply not reach them. There are like these the ladders up against the thing that you can use to climb up if you
Those are
need,
awesome.
if you gotta grab a book.
see Zero play with this ladder.
Here, hold these for me.
I will not do that. I'm here to observe and keep an eye on what you're doing, and you've been given access, but I'm not your assistant.
Please.
Make a persuasion check.
You can do this. Yes! 8!
He goes, I'm a lieutenant of the guard. This is not my responsibility. If you wish to get some help... Kind of like turns around, and like looks at one of the guys and goes, fuck off. Comes walking up, he grabs the books.
Thank you.
And I continue grabbing a lot
Sure.
of books.
Is there anything specific you want to research today? Or in like the few hours that you have here? There's a lot of that
for
around.
a while.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you could just like raid the entire library and just start reading everything.
I'm first gonna start with Marcedian history.
Very well. Okay. We'll get to that. That's a pretty big topic to research.
That's the one I'm gonna start
Mm-hmm.
with. Because that's the one I've been obsessed with!
The 3 of you are in his office. What are you looking for?
Well, look. I want to look at the books first.
Okay.
Corral.
Make investigation checks.
Just help with the fan.
You can either help or you can both do one.
You're. My bonus is a +2.
I will help someone if that's possible.
That's good. Luckily, Chloe already helped Bess, so we're good.
Didn't
What's the
make it
top?
any better.
What's the best one?
12.
12. The papers that he has, there's some like notes.
6 and a 3.
It's like there's partially prepared lessons of archaeology in the eastern side of the continent that he was preparing lessons for that are unfinished. The books in his small collection that he has are seem to be all books from this library. They all have a little like written part in the front page. Mainly pertaining to the peninsula that you're on and its history, what it was like. You figure in his personal time he's trying to read up on the history of the place that he's in, whilst teaching history of the place that he's from. But you don't find anything that necessarily, more than that, points you towards any direction.
Alright, I'll go look through the lesson plans, I guess. You start with the books. No. You have a vacuum.
The guy goes,
like something to deal with all this dust.
It's called a broom.
I'll ask if we have a cleaner somewhere around here. He leaves. He goes look if you can find a place to clean. So that's basically what you guys spend your. That's a few hours.
Grab a paper.
Can I check the desk to see if the desk is any secret?
The desk held the preparations of the.
There's no like drawers.
Yeah, that's what they're in. There, you have some. You have some.
Drawers.
No. There's some. Not that you find. There's some old lessons plans that he seems to have archived that he may want to reuse for other students, and then some unfinished ones, and then those books he was reading on his own. Zira, you try to find out Mercedes history. You begin to read. You find quite a bit of history within the city. Like you find people that live there, notable achievements they've gotten. New people entering the city, Mercedians having to deal with the fact that there aren't just Mercedians living in here. But when really looking for the origin of Mercedian existence, you find that it starts with the creation of the city. And anything predating that seems to not be on their public record.
Interesting.
Although it is mentioned that... which is probably something you would find out when you meet with them and search Kieran's books more specifically, that the peninsula used to be like a lush, green-verdant area rather than the desert that it is now. Although, as far as you're aware, in speak of history of the city and past that, it's always been a desert.
Interesting.
Is there anything you would want to do? Because your interaction didn't take that long.
Mm-hmm. I want to
but
search for the guys. Because
yeah, when you enter, you see Zira like going through a pile of books, and you see Harold kind of standing there.
Yeah. I want to see if there's anything in common or in Halfling, or if anything is written here in Mercedian.
If you pick some books and you begin to skim through them, a lot of them are written in Mercedian. Looking for it, asking somebody who seems to be working the place. There are books that exist in Common and Halfling, but they are far fewer in number. Mm-hmm. So they may not cover every topic in specific languages.
It's okay, so I get a topic, like most interesting stories they cover here.
Sure.
Like things there.
If you would read that, you would come to the same conclusion as Zira, that any interesting stories about themselves that is written is in the history of the city itself, mm-hmm. and not predating that. So people that have gotten achievement, people that like the people that set up the academy, for example, people that started the first great artisans that lived here, or stuff like that.
How long would that be? What time ago?
There isn't as much a specific year that's numbered, but the oldest mentions are in what would be the Age of Devotion, with the very, very oldest being at the end of an era that they call the Millennium of Magic, which is something you're unfamiliar with.
Okay.
As that's not something that's in the history books in Genova or anything like that. Anything in Genova, it begins at the Age of Devotion. So anything predating that, some of that you can find here, but that's their very start, would be the very end of the Millennium of Magic.
Yeah, I'm great at history.
Eventually, you all kind of reconvene, not having found much in his office, having learned some in the library. Is there anything else you guys wish to do today? Somewhere else you wish to go, or something else you wish to do?
George would look through the library a little bit for smithing information. Maybe they could put anything there with the high oak.
Is this a library where I can borrow books?
If you're a member.
Can I become a member?
If you dedicate, Erilyah will tell you that if you want to stay in the city permanently, you can apply for a membership.
That will take so long.
Yeah. It may be in the middle of buttfuck nowhere, but it's still a bureaucracy.
Perpetuity
I
is
love
so
this
long.
place because it's so godless. But bureaucracy is still a
It's
thing.
not. It doesn't necessarily seem to be godless, but there's no outward worship, and there is a temple in the city, which is something you'd notice more. There's a larger temple to seemingly Prime Mystra, the same bluish star, although it doesn't seem to be worked. It's open and it's kept clean, but there isn't active worship there.
Yeah, but like they don't make me sit in the church on Sunday. That's
True. That's true. Researching on smithing and stuff like that, similar to the other books on history, the earliest accounts you can find is of the very first artisans that started their work. You find that the first ones that lived in Erilyah, they could smith with adamantine and barite and with mithril, which is something you now know is lost to the most recent generations. Although there isn't any like instruction manuals, mainly having information passed down through generations of artisans, of smiths that teach the one that would then take over their shop when they retire in that way. So they lose, because they're so isolated, slowly losing more and more information rather than gaining more.
Okay. Russia.
Yeah.
Wait, you just point to a direction.
But eventually all of you would reconvene, having done various things in the first... This would be able to spend like 3-4 hours. It would be early afternoon now.
I mean, you probably go look for us, and we'll be in the office.
Yes.
I mean, I would probably keep reading until someone drags me
Okay,
along.
yeah, okay, fair. I mean the rest.
George would go to the office.
As you guys kind of get there, at one point, Erilyah comes walking up to the guy that's been shadowing them. Comes up walking with a key. I can show you the location of a place they found that you could...
Does it have more documents?
No, it is an currently inhabited
place where we
place.
can sleep.
Nobody lives there yet. Do you want to have a place with more documents?
No, I don't. God.
I mean, Kieran lives somewhere else, right?
He did.
Have you found anything fruitful here?
Lots of notes about archaeology.
Fuel properly.
Feel free to go check, but there's lesson plans galore.
Could I take
Sure, make an investigation check.
I will not help. I would sit back in like a chair and just be like, oh, my head, it hurts.
26.
26.
Jesus, what? What's your bonus?
You don't find anything per se, like notes-wise or books-wise. But at one point you feel like a way would be not a mouse mat, but he has like a little. He has like a cloth that he seems to have worked on mainly.
I mean, there's
You
like
feel-
a
you
desk
feel like
protector, like a big ass mat for your desk.
You basically have that. You peel away a corner of that, the top right corner, and there's it carved into the desk, which is a nice desk. Is these like two strange droplet-shaped carvings in it with like scratches on the sides, which seems to be compared to like his lessons notes, which are very organized, very disorganized, very crude carving into his desk.
Take up the entire mat. Is there like
no, just a little corner. It's just enough that if you peel away like maybe 5 inches, that there could have been drawn there, and then that would also cover it up.
So, does this seem familiar to you?
It almost seems like there's like it's these two droplet-shaped things, which could also resemble eyes, perhaps. And then just scratches around it in different directions.
Familiar? Wait, is it like
familiar now?
Is it like infinite symbol-esque?
No. It's I mean, they are two separated globules.
Does it
Just
look
like
those eyes you
scratches
saw
up.
when you pulled him out of the scrying?
Yeah, does it? Yeah, that's what. Does it look familiar?
I mean, in the sense that it's 2 eyes with stuff around it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that.
But again, it's a crude, probably off the hand carving in a desk rather than a piece of art. So it's not super like recognizable of anything.
That's disturbing.
That it is.
There's a lot of documents. I wanted to check the.
He just randomly disappears. You think he documented that?
Maybe.
Careful.
Maybe he wrote down "Help! I'm getting abducted." Like what? I don't know.
That's something you would. No, what?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, let me sit down on my desk to write down a document to ask for help.
Well, maybe. I don't know why he disappeared. He could have like planned this.
Maybe.
Planned this? Why?
Maybe he went insane.
If he wanted to disappear, why would he write it down?
Maybe we find more in you.
Yeah, that's a good call. You had a key, right?
I have a key. I have a key to your new apartment.
Also, Kieran's apartment.
Yes.
No.
Yes, I can give you the key when we get there.
Yeah, no, that's.
I'll run you by. I'll run you by your new place, then bring you to Kieran's. Then I will have to go. I have to update Sarah on some stuff. So. Follow me. Goes into the city eventually. Like you kind of like go to you had the southern half of the city. That's mainly like the Artisan's Wharf. That's also where the academy is, and in the northern area, that's where you have the temple, and it's a lot of residential area. And there's some open markets here that sell like foods and stuff. What you do notice is that there's a lot of people using magic around. You don't see any farms or anything like that, but you see that the food stands, there's people like casting spells, and fruit that seems to be maybe like a day or old just rejuvenates itself to new. People that specialize in that way in different types of magic. Yeah. You're led through this market area and eventually brought to a larger apartment that seems to be on the ground floor. Herald tells you that this is yours and hands you the key before eventually heading over to a couple of blocks away, going up some steps of a 3-layered building, bring you to the top layer, which he tells you was Kieran's and has been abandoned since, or Kieran's and Isis to be specific. Gives you the key and wishes you good luck. He goes, if you need any help, I will leave some men outside. But aside from that, I will have to go. Good luck, I hope you find something.
Open the door.
Just like dust everywhere.
Okay. So I was thinking we investigate first and then excry.
Is that smart? I mean, is it smart? I don't know if that entity can harm us, and if it wants to be found on this place.
Let me. Also, do you want us to pull you out, or do you want to take the risk of staying in?
A good question.
We now discovered it tried to help you find this place, but we still don't know if it's good.
See, that is very true. Don't know its intentions. And generally speaking, good is. I don't want to be like a lionist or anything, but like there's a clear distinction between good and evil, right?
I mean, I would say black smoke, evil.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm not.
It's either fire.
Oh, fire is not evil.
Fire is also. It's only black smoke if you burn stuff wrong.
Fire is life, but it could also be destruction. So
It can be destruction.
If you burn stuff wrong, the smoke is black, which is bad.
Which
then
is usually when you destroy something because you spread it like without thinking about burning it.
good fire is not black smoke. So. So that's why I'm asking, do you want us to pull you out or not?
Don't think it's.
That could help us find Kieran and
Let's okay. How about it? We'll look through his apartment,
yes.
eat some real food, and sit down for once.
Yeah.
Sleep about it, and then do it.
Now you can have longer to think if you want us to pull you out or not.
Yes.
That's good. Okay, we'll do that.
You enter into the apartment. Seems to be a smaller apartment that has 2 bedrooms, a small kitchen to prepare your own stuff, and a small like seating area.
Is there
It
like
had a
pots and pans in the sink that are like gross?
No, those would no at the moment no.
Okay, they did the dishes before they left.
There's also like a small like desk, like it's the living room is like kitchen, living room, study, and then 2 bedrooms is basically the setup. You enter it. And there's old dust everywhere. The curtains are closed.
I'll open the curtains.
No!
I grab the curtains.
Can't touch anything in a crime scene.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do?
Guidance.
I'm a detective now.
Okay. Is there anything you want to look for?
I'm gonna go investigate the place for clues.
What-
Because this is a crime scene now.
I kind of described the area. Is there anything, anywhere specific you want to look?
Okay, so it was
Where you want to look, and then other people can look at other
study.
places. There's 2 bedrooms. There's a study and a living room and a kitchen. It's all kind of like one larger room, but there's 3 separate areas.
Okay.
No bathroom?
No, there's not in this building. There seems to be, if you
I'm gonna
ask,
go check the shared public bathroom.
there is a public bathroom.
You go check the shared public bathroom.
Check the shithole.
I'll go check.
Shit.
Okay, so the bathroom, shared bathroom, sure.
I'm gonna go first look into Kieran's bedroom.
Bedroom.
Yeah,
What do you want?
I wanted to look in the bedrooms as well.
Well, there's Ice's bedroom. Would have been Ice's bedroom.
I'll look through Ice's bed.
There's one with a slightly larger bed, one with a slightly smaller bed. So
I share a bed.
no.
There wasn't only one bed.
Anything the 2 of you, anywhere the 2 of you specifically want to look or want to do anything?
I want to stay in the main room and just see where everyone's going. I'm not really that kind of an investigator.
Anything you want to do?
Guiding 0. I'm just sort of checking.
I
Just
give-
sort of standing there guiding.
Okay, so
I give everyone the instruction to not just randomly touch stuff, but be
Okay.
careful.
then in that case, make an investigation check, and you guys make investigation checks.
21.
21.
On dice.
The
25.
bathroom is separated in a male's and a female bathroom. There seem to be some like 10 toilets on either side. There's what would assume to be
Wait,
baths.
there's gendered bathroom.
Yeah.
Bathroom.
Yeah,
Wow.
there is. They're old school like that.
But
There
you need to
is.
sell more
This is also a
bathrooms.
place where people
I
would
know.
take baths, but not a luxury
toilets.
bathhouse or anything like that. Specific clues about Kieran, you look very thoroughly, you don't necessarily find anything.
A toilet, like.
That's basically what Bess is doing. I feel like she's like scouring like a bloodhound.
If someone comes in, it's like, oh, sorry.
Like the snout on the floor and like.
Down in the toilet?
Yeah.
Yep, that's toilet water.
It doesn't smell that bad here, actually. It's like kept pretty clean.
They had beans.
Isn't there one guy shitting or something? You just walk under the stall.
Is
Hello.
it American stalls or European stalls?
Um,
How big are the gaps?
Pretty small. It would probably not fit through it easily.
Okay,
Your
you're
snout
beans
just-
stalled.
The two of you. Ice's bedroom, Kieran's bedroom.
25.
25?
19.
19. Okay. In Ice's bedroom, you find she has a bedroom, and then she has one of this like those poles that has the 3 arms that are sticking out, like 3 discs with arms sticking out. That is this like martial arts training device.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which is something you've never seen her use but speak of. This one seems to be handmade, and seems to be quite worn. She has some books, which you find out are part of the library. On archaeology, she seems to have been studying that at the academy. There's an academy uniform here, but nothing particularly of note. She had her hobby. She basically lived a life here for a couple of years. In Kieran's, you find it much more neatly left than Ice's. Ice's, like the blankets are strewn about, a chair at a desk just kind of like moved to the side, books out in the place. Kieran's is much more neatly. Everything is on bookshelves. His bed is neatly made, although with a thick layer of dust and sand on it at this point. He has a small desk here that doesn't have any drawers or anything like that, but it has writing materials and such prepared, but nothing written
Are they
down.
like precisely?
Yeah, it's basically like you walked into like an IKEA.
That's OCD.
When you walked in here, it's basically like an IKEA showroom almost. Like it's just like too clean.
It's too clean.
Yeah.
Someone cleaned up.
But nothing particular of interest that you find here.
No weird scratchings.
Here you don't. No.
Throw him-
Specifically searching for
Destroy
it
these
this
desks.
time as well.
Destroy the entire.
Hmm.
Everything throw it away.
It's too organized and clean.
I'll look through her uniforms, like in her pockets. If no, no, but maybe she had like a note stuck in her pocket or something.
That makes you can
Looks underneath the bed.
There seems to be crumpled notes in. Well, your best estimation is perfect Mercedes. You're not 100% sure. There seems to be like
Yes, I can-
like notes she would have taken in somewhat of a hurry. To you, it looks like perfect Mercedes.
Mercedes.
I can understand. No, not her. I'll grab the notes.
Grab the notes. Anything else you want to do?
I'm gonna now investigate the study.
An investigation check.
That's all I'm doing on this.
Yeah, just walking around, following you, guessing at it.
Ah! 16!
Did you add guidance?
Yeah.
Um,
That was a shit.
you kind of like go through it, and the study is also kept very clean. You can like start going through the books that he has, and you put one back. And when you put one back, most of them that you put back kind of has that like feeling like it hits the wall behind it. You shove one in one of the bookshelves. It's basically on a desk, right? So it's a small bookshelf against the wall. You push one in, and there's a much more hollow thunk sound.
Aha!
The back broke and
No,
it's
George,
falling
help
down.
me
It
move
fell
this
behind
desk.
it.
I am small and weak.
I guided you.
Okay, sure, I'll push the desk away.
Make a strength check, athletics check specifically.
I have guidance.
At this point, you would come back from the bathrooms, having inspected it, clean bathrooms.
That's a 19!
With determination and will, you pull back the desk, which reveals this like carved out section of the wall behind one of the bookshelves, and there's just like a small stack of notes that can slide out and scatter across the ground.
I gather the notes and look through them.
They don't make any fucking sense to you. There's 6 of them. They're numbered. They're written. They're written in common, but they don't make any fucking sense to you because they look like this.
Yes!
Well, hold on. Let's give Sharon our interbroom, maybe.
Yeah, boy. Here, you can read those.
Send a picture to Angie for one of them.
Ah, yes.
I know the language.
It's written in common, but it doesn't make any fucking sense to you because it's just letters next to each other that don't seem to have any pronunciation to them.
Some kind of secret script.
I definitely see a lot
It's
of
a cipher.
L's.
It's definitely a cipher.
There's a lot of L's.
Having taken the linguist feat as of late, it does look like some sort of cipher.
Oh god!
Are you have J's, right? There's like
Yeah.
these random J's scattered around.
Mm-hmm.
I see QI.
I mean, I have a sentence that starts with an N. I think it's like a cipher that like replaces like the.
But what is your like? There's random like capitalized letters.
But is it
Oh
written
no,
from
that's just one.
left above to right down?
You just
or-
have one.
You're not 100% sure.
At the start.
The only thing you
There's
see,
an
they're basically that, but on parchment
You have a
in
single
the what would be common script in
Just
that in the actual
I have
world,
a lot of O's.
and then with numbers on them.
a lot of single O's.
I have a lot of W's.
Are those capitalized or not?
Yeah.
Did you guys send one to Angie so she can also see one?
I don't have my phone.
I have, not my phone.
I thought you said you sent.
I have.
No, I don't have one. I said
Oh.
send one to her. So, just any of the ones
Put
that
them,
you guys aren't looking at.
Underneath the chat.
What the hell the start of the
picture.
sentence? No, they're not.
I also sent it in the chat.
I like
So,
how these are like typed. and
Why?
letters are
Lot of
wrong.
W's.
yeah, I think you did it wrong.
I think Kieran like
This
used
was
his
3
typewriter wrong.
originally.
That mistake is not on Kieran's actual card for the record.
Damn.
It is. I think it is.
No, it's
No,
not.
no,
No,
it is.
Kieran is much more precise than that.
I am very much gonna try to decipher this.
I mean, that's the objective for all of you. If you guys can work together, not one person has to do this.
Well, they're numbered from 1 to 6. So the easy thing to say is that's the order we should go by.
Yeah.
So
Wait.
maybe just the capital letters spell out
Wait.
something if you put them.
Is
No.
it like this
They-
number?
It's definitely replacements.
Is this number like how far the letter is replaced? So like if you have an A, is like the number on there. So A becomes like if you have 5 becomes an E. I don't know if this is smart to do on stream, but I'm not.
No, we'll go to break if you guys think you figured something out.
I think it's farther away.
By the way, the guards that are with you are outside, so they're not catching any of this necessarily. You've been given your privacy.
I think some of the letters from the alphabet we know are changed farther away because I see an X, like the apostrophe X, and I think an X could also be like an S.
What,
I have number 4.
The thing is, if you use grammatical rules, if you see a capital letter that's in the middle of a sentence, it should be a singular, it should be an I. Because that's grammatical,
And
right?
that should be a this should be a name
Yeah.
or something.
So I here have multiple times a singular J, but once the J is after a comma, so that means that's actually an I. And I also have the number 1, so if it's indeed it steps at 1, then it means every J is that an I. It just means.
So this
Are you catching that as well, Angie?
Probably.
Probably? Is that what you're saying?
Fortunately.
Partly.
No idea what was that.
Can somebody explain it to Angie? Also, which card is Angie looking at?
She has like 3. She has 1, 2, and 4 centaurs.
Oh, okay.
She just needs to decide which one she wants to do.
Which one do you want to try to decipher?
I mean, Zero has 1 and
I also
Zero
have
has
2.
4, so I guess I'll do 2, I guess.
Okay, can we do that? So, what's your current hypothesis? Though you came up with one.
My hypothesis is that the number signifies how many letters in the alphabet it has been replaced as. So I have 5. So
With
like,
mine, it wouldn't make any sense.
I mean,
Yeah,
I mean,
that holds up. With mine as well. But then I have to go. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
like
maybe it's
I
like
have
one.
to go backwards.
It's
Yeah,
backwards.
backwards. Like
Because
because,
you go-
my
you
J's
go in-
indeed
in-
with the 1 correspondence would be an I.
Okay,
Yeah, wait.
with this hypothesis, we're gonna go to break, so you guys actually have some time to figure this
Yeah, that
out.
would be nice.
And then we'll pick it up in about 10 to 15 minutes. So, with that, thank you guys for coming out. We'll be back very shortly, possibly with a deciphered code. We'll be back. Welcome back, everyone. We took a break. I took a break. Everybody here was.
We did homework.
Everybody worked on. You're slightly on both cameras, by the way. You're more on that. You're more on this camera. So
Mark, when do I make a photo of it? I want to see this shit.
I don't have my phone on
I
me.
don't care. I'll sit here.
We can look. We can look it back on the
You can
screen.
use mine.
That's fine.
In print screen.
You guys all deciphered your. You guys all deciphered your individual ciphers.
That's what you like to think.
That's what I'd like to think. So,
You also have a very long one.
Actually,
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, same.
What I instead do
Yeah.
Yeah.
is write down the chilies menu.
That'd be
Chilling.
longer one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I wrote down the lyrics to Star Spangled Banner
I wrote down a nickel pen.
and wrote down a Nickelback song. So,
Is it I'd come for you? Because it sounds like I'd come for
I
you.
really hope it isn't.
I came for you.
So, what did you guys figure
I
out?
came for you too.
Not a
I'd
lot.
come for
Well, we
you.
figured out that he was leaving ciphers for himself in a little cubby hole behind his desk.
And that using your brain is hard.
I mean, you guys haven't shared the letters with each other yet.
But
I won't.
Oh, cool.
well, we could read them like in order.
You guys good? If you think you know the right order.
Those like read them
Well,
out
it's
of
probably
order.
1 to 6, but maybe we. No, wait. 1 to 6. Yeah. I just
Who
decided.
has 6? Oh. Nice.
You could do 6 to 1.
Sure.
Afterwards, we can decide which order it's supposed to be in. Because I feel like
Mine
it's a-
seems like a starting, actually.
Yeah, mine is also not that interesting. Actually.
Mine seems like really like.
Well, shall I start then?
Mine
Because I
seems
like
like-
mine.
Well, let's start. You thought it was a starting thing, right?
It sounds like a starting thing.
Yeah, let's do
Maybe
like
you
6
start.
to 1. So 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Number 6.
Number.
Number 6.
Number 6.
I intend to leave the city to follow the voice calling to me in my dreams. If my disappearance is permanent and I awaken something I shouldn't have, I doubt the sphinxes will rise up against it without.
Yeah, that definitely is probably the end.
Yeah, I guess.
Is this the end?
Yeah,
Probably,
I
because
guess,
mine definitely is more a starter if
Yeah.
I read it
And
like
mine is
that.
in the
If I
middle.
read it like that.
Alright, let's reverse.
Alright,
Alright,
reverse.
read that. I'm only halfway through.
Seems like the fucking climax of the story.
I shall.
I intend to leave the city. Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, maybe
because
it's
mine
the
is
beginning.
talking about how he wants to leave the city, but hasn't.
No, that's what I thought.
Guys, please keep it down, because if your voices rise, I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, we'll
So
start.
you,
with
you
1.
think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6?
I think it's closer
Sure.
to that than it's starting with 6.
Okay. Going with 1.
Because mine starts like this. I was shocked to discover Marcedians. However, as of late, I had an inexplainable itch that leads me to believe that my travel is not yet finished. I asked the Sphinxes for permission to leave Erilyah. to look for more of their ruins. Strangely, they refuse to let me. The reason is unbeknownst to me.
It was 2. I think that's Angie.
Yeah, Angie.
Mine. It starts. My dreams have become more vivid as late. I see a fortress shrouded in shadows. Here in the desert. A citadel with a bloody history. Something tells me the Sphinx is no more. I will once again ask a leave to investigate these dreams.
I don't remember the dream I talked about in the last note. I don't remember asking the Sphinxes for a leave. Gaps in my memory begin to form more often, and each time I read my notes, the word that's very long come back.
Oh my god, you didn't translate that.
It's nightmares. And the nightmares come back. I won't again ask the Sphinxes for aid.
I think that was very audible. We can.
Okay.
It's an interpretation of his accent, sure.
Yeah. I mean, just, you want to do different accents.
Eyes of fire, a darkness sees me. It knows me, warning
Very
me of the
feminine.
sphinxes. It calls me to it. Northwest. I don't believe this to be a benevolent force, but the length to which the sphinxes went to prevent my investigation leads me to believe there is danger in this desert that cannot remain ignored.
I requested a leave to return home, but the Sphinxes wouldn't allow me to leave with my memory of this place. Is this why they didn't let me leave before? Because they feared the revelation of this city? Whatever the reason, this darkness cannot be left to fester or can't be left to fester. Action is required, and the Sphinx's pacifism towards it is a flawed approach.
Sounds a little different.
Now the climax. I intend to leave the city to follow the voice calling to me in my dreams. If my disappearance is permanent and I awaken something I shouldn't have, I doubt the Sphinxes will rise up against it without undeniable proof. Instead, I instruct you to return home by any means necessary. Warn Witzel and make a case for this darkness to be investigated.
So do you have to figure out?
So these were notes to Ice.
Yeah. Why were they here?
Still so you know, the guards wouldn't find them.
Clearly, he was
if
conspiring against the Sphinxes at some point.
Yeah.
If they were for Ice, why didn't she take them with her? If he knows that they would leave her without memory.
Maybe
If
she
she
didn't
couldn't.
find them.
She probably did. Dumbass.
Because otherwise she would probably
Well, why would she leave?
have warned you.
Oh, there was a note in her uniform.
I shall read these notes.
But it's in like perfect Mercedian.
It's a very broken Mercedian schedule of her school classes and how once for this day an hour would have been switched at a different time. So it's not nothing of real like value. It's just like a school note.
This is not perfect Mercedian.
According to my eyes, that's perfect.
How would you know it's perfect Mercini?
Oh,
Don't
well, I've
even
seen that
speak
page
the
before.
language.
This was just her school schedule.
Alright, so she probably
Sometimes
found these
people
notes.
leave important stuff in their pockets.
Anyways, I don't think Ice has read these notes because they were hidden and well, she left but didn't find you to tell, hey, there's something weird going on.
But because she couldn't leave without her memory being completely.
Well, Kieran clearly tried to do that. And everyone's like, he disappeared, so he probably did leave with it.
But he left more ominously whilst he instructed Ice to go back home.
Yeah.
Which she did, but she didn't get the memory. So.
But question then is like, why did Ice leave?
Because she found the notes and she did as instructed.
Why did she not?
Kieran disappeared.
Why did she not take the notes with them?
Because she's not allowed to take anything probably with her.
Mm-hmm.
But
Just
also,
only the things she might have carried with her entering the city, but nothing that she left.
she could have also just
Maybe.
left to look for Kieran because he suddenly disappeared.
Yeah, that might
Without
have
having found the notes. Both are valid.
I feel like she found them also. I mean, after Kieran disappearing, she'd probably investigate. She had a lot more time than.
And then she put everything
Northwest,
back
right?
neatly.
But they definitely saw the smoky.
Yeah.
I don't think you should scry.
But we definitely should not trust those sphinxes.
Do not read those notes.
I don't
I have.
think the sphinxes are evil. I think they're just like very scared.
They are, definitely.
Yeah, but they prevent everything that you
The
wanted
bitches.
to do.
I mean, we can leave, but
But you're saying
We can't.
this
They said we can't.
just
No,
from
we
previous
can, just
encounters.
not with the memories of this place.
Yeah.
Kieran
because
found a
this
way
place-
to leave.
It's hidden.
I don't
Suddenly.
think we should assume anything. This
But we
entity might
Do
be.
we know if Kieran still has memory of this place? No, right?
Mhm.
No clue.
But are you able to message him?
Right, that didn't work.
Try again.
It's that I don't know the
We're in
guy,
the city where
otherwise
the
I would
magic
send
doesn't
my
work.
birds.
Venetian shield.
Best I can do is try and
Utso!
spy.
Try to use my bird.
Right.
Might never come back.
Can I have the card of your bird? It's speak a message into the bird that's 25 words long, and then it will fly towards the creature that you designate it to.
You want me to say, Kieran, do you have any memories left?
Do
Yeah,
Or
you,
just say, are you like, you know?
Hey, Kieran,
What do you know?
it's George.
It's
George Wayland Jr. of the Zolforge.
He doesn't even know me.
Oh.
The only thing it's missing is that it can be used as an actual messenger bird with letters and stuff.
Speak a message into it?
Kieran. What's all here?
I go Bashera now.
So it makes more sense. Not make it confusing.
Do you still remember what you wrote down?
in a specific place, maybe?
The weird.
Erilyah.
You still
Erilyah.
remember nightmares.
Do you still remember the nightmares? We're here. We're searching. What do I do with it now?
Tell him to go to Kieran.
Go to Kieran? I throw it up.
Dunk.
This is going wrong, I guess.
He just falls to the ground,
Is it
inanimate.
supposed to do that?
Guess not.
I have to scry.
Maybe it's because
shit.
I don't
Do you
know
have to
Kieran.
scry or cry?
It's the same effect. It just becomes inanimate and waits for a new message.
Scry or cry, it's the same
Scry or
effect.
There's no, like, these messages, they're great, but they explain very little. But it is clear that he went to that shadowy thing. It's to show us something.
Why does he want to be a hero? That's what I don't understand.
I don't know, he sounded like a nerd to me, not a hero.
Exactly, he was a nerd.
So something really went wrong with these dreams, I guess.
I guess.
Maybe he saw the end of the world.
Or maybe he
I mean,
also
I-
got a nice woman who possessed him.
don't
You
know.
don't know.
Well,
Is Kieran still Kieran? Ask yourself the question.
As long as we haven't found him yet, and he doesn't, he acts the same.
do we want to pursue this?
We probably should. If
Are we
the-
sure?
It might have to do something with those demons.
That's true.
You wanted to find out about those demons.
How do we find this thing if I'm not even allowed to scry?
We'll ask. Like, they did say something about like us leaving with our memories if we did them a favor or something.
The swings is also kind of what Clearly in his notes, the Sphinxes are not telling something.
I mean, they're the scared little bitches.
Alright, well, as am I, and I don't want to, maybe the Sphinxes have a point. And if I can scry, maybe they're afraid of the unknown, something.
It's not a personality trait of mine. I like it when people make fun of themselves.
So it's
Nice.
Have we looked throughout this entire apartment actually? Because I've not been really looking. I've just been guiding it.
Like, Ice's room just looks like a room.
You've investigated basically everything that's worth investigating.
There's the kitchen. You want to investigate for some food? Getting hungry. I'm gonna investigate the pantry.
There's no food in there anymore.
God damn it.
Basket of straw. Never seen it.
Like rotten strawberries.
The
Open the cupboard, like,
mushrooms.
oh fuck.
Mummified.
Oh no, not
shriveled
rotten
and
strawberries.
Start speaking.
So, what do you guys want to do?
Sleep.
Let's sleep.
I mean, it's
Eat food!
later in the day, but you guys,
I want to eat food.
if you guys wish to spend the rest of the day doing leisure activities and nothing in particular, you can. If you guys want to just take a long rest.
I want to eat food and then I
Don't
want to
think
do
about this.
a secret project.
It's not downtime.
I want to do research for a secret project.
What do you want to research? That's also downtime for the record.
Potions.
Right.
A way to leave.
Yeah,
Without
we
them
should.
knowing.
Again, this entity is probably what made Kieran leave. Maybe the entity helped Kieran leave.
An entity that gives you nightmares is not a friendly entity.
Doesn't mean help is not necessarily always beneficial.
Why would it help him leave if he intended to, like,
Why would it be in
Get
his
rid of
visions
it.
and in his dreams?
no, he wanted to get rid of it. Why would it help him? Maybe he tried to, like, release it.
I think you're missing the point. The
I mean,
entity was.
were the dreams nightmares?
Yes, they were. He calls them nightmares in the notes.
Okay, so
In George's notes, it does.
Yes, it's the word that I almost refuse to acknowledge. But besides the point, the creature maybe wanted Kieran for something. And Kieran was more important to it than, we figured.
Probably the one the random archaeologist.
Maybe Kieran is not as random as you may think. Why was Kieran so obsessed with taking this down? Huh? Does that sound like a Kieran you know?
Does it sound like I don't think so. No, not at all.
So, you can't go off the assumptions. Besides, this thing was also luring me in.
I think he's right, we cannot let it fester.
We don't know what it is. I think I have to scry.
Let's eat first.
For the rest of the day,
Church's new hobby: smithing and scrying.
you are allowed.
As
You
an
have access to your own apartment as well, which has bedding enough for all of you, and a small kitchen in which you could prepare foods that you can either request as being guests. You can. You guys basically have the rest of the day, the night, and the following morning to yourselves. This would be a place where the travel rules no longer count, by the way, so you just get a full rest.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Do you guys want to take a long rest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, you guys do, at the end of that long rest, become level 11
Nice.
and get all features of that that come with it
Now I can do an
and hit
illusion.
points.
I would
Almost
like
literally
to have
nothing.
a stick, please.
Sure, you get a stick.
Does any of this place sell like crossbow bolts?
There's some that you can find, yeah.
I also still have some.
If you want to have some.
I don't know if
I
you need
will-
it.
I mean, what I can use them with my arm, right?
If that's what your arm says that you can, then yes.
I will now use my stick to cast 8 on everyone.
All right, dude. Right. 8 does not stack, is what we. 8 does not stack. No, it does not. No, it does not.
Stack with my casting of 8.
Different swords.
Yes, but once. If you could cast 8, you could cast 8.
Not a third person.
I mean, if there's somebody else that has 8, then you can stack it on top of again, but you only from one individual, you can only get once.
Super 8s. 8.
But that's
Oh,
to
immune system.
cast 8 on everybody, that's 2 charges, right? 3 people per casting.
Yes.
So it is only 8 hours, so if you cast in the morning, which is at 8 a.m., it only lasts until 4 p.m. You want to cast it just whenever you wake up?
I would cast it around noon or something.
You're also in the middle of the city right now, so may not be that necessary per se.
Probably 2 hours after I wake up, so then it ends at like 6 p.m.
Sure.
No, but this is my new daily routine. 2 hours after I wake up, I cast 8 on everyone.
Alright, so yeah, it lasts from 10 to 6, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Chloe, did you want to buy crossbow bolts?
Yes.
20 cost 1 gold. I'm pretty sure, at least. Let me check.
Yeah, it's like that with longbow arrows,
Yeah.
but I don't know if it's the same with bolts.
It just says
1 gold, right?
it doesn't say how many you
guess
get.
so.
It's
It's
1
somewhere
gold
like it.
and you get arrows, but it doesn't say how many arrows you
20,
get.
I
20.
guess.
It doesn't say that. That's strange. I also think it's 20. But we'll say 20 for a gold.
Oh, yeah.
40 should.
I have to agree with your wife, by the way, on your punctuation.
It's my dyslexia.
Yeah,
Don't
crossbow-
put a comma after the reason is, comma.
I can.
Yeah, crossbow
No.
bolts. Is
I
the
can
same
if
as
I want to.
arrows. It's
If you wanted
yeah.
to, you should have put it before the is.
Yeah, Kieran is an idiot.
Kieran isn't that smart as
So, the following morning, you all wake up, you're all level 11. What do you want to do?
Celebrate for level 11.
Sure.
Level 11. Yay!
Celebrate by getting into combat so I can use my level 11 ability.
Yeah. Let's pick a
Which
5.
is just advantage on the
Let's pick a
initiative.
5 with the Sphinx.
We can beat them.
Yeah, we can. 1. Not all of them.
What do you
It's
guys want
like
to
2,
do?
right?
Yeah, maybe 2. Well, what do we want to do? Do we want to continue the Kirin search or? Well, he wanted to scry, right? Next day.
Do we want to do it right away?
I don't know.
Oh,
That's up to George.
By the way, at this point, you're no longer being shadowed by the guards. That was just for the original day. In the evening, they gave you some foods that you could last on for a couple of days.
The crackers.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Hard tech.
Then you have been left to your own devices, and you can find Erilyah at any point if you need to.
I definitely want to try.
I'm happy if it's level 12.
Anything that helps with, upping the courage a little bit.
Booze?
No, not booze. I don't want to go drunk.
I have
in
heard
there.
Yeah, I know it's
called
booze. It's
liquid
definitely
courage.
booze.
Yeah, booze is called liquid courage.
It's certainly courage, but I don't want to be drunk whilst confronting this thing.
Just one
Do
drink.
you want to be inspired then, or what?
Don't get it.
Something like
One
that.
drink
Something a
from me.
little more like.
There's no servers here.
Yeah,
Well, then you have a D10 extra.
You have to go get
There you
it.
go.
I'm gonna get a beer.
So I inspire you.
Yes, it's 10 a.m. Yes.
I mean, you have a kitchen with like
You
drinks.
can
And
do
stuff.
it!
Okay.
Wayland Jr.
That's the best the party can do.
Asking of me.
Yo, what?
You gain an extra D10 to add.
That's great.
So.
I gave you 8.
Thanks.
Did you know?
You gave him 8?
No.
How?
What is 8?
No. George, what are you doing?
Explain it to her.
It's a blood disease.
Guidance myself.
Sure.
Maybe
And I
maybe
will
during
try and
combat.
scry on. Now
Oh, yeah, big question.
I have items of me,
You do.
which I will utilize to increase my odds.
Again, the question: do you want us to pull you out or not?
To
This
pull you
time-
out.
Not this time.
Only if something
Okay.
bad happens, maybe.
I guess if there's like a visual cue or like a creature starts getting out of the body and starts like overwhelming the entire room. Should we do this outside? No, that would probably be too obvious.
The guard. There will be guards.
Okay, a
They
visual
will-
cue that is not black smoke.
Yeah, like the black smoke just immediately happens, or how does
Yes.
that work?
Yeah, that's
Immediate
just
guards.
immediate. black
Anything
smoke.
else that comes to mind?
Well, I remember a creature coming out of it. No one else saw it,
Oh,
but
there was actually a creature.
yeah, no,
Okay.
No, it was more like something grasping at you than a full creature coming.
yeah, grasping at you.
Oh,
And then
to
with
keep you
burning
in.
eyes.
But I have not seen it.
Were its
If
eyes
there's
like the
any
like the
other visual
scratches?
cue than black smoke, I'll pull you
I mean,
out.
in the same way that any
It's
drawing of
grasping
two
like
eyes is similar.
smoke. I guess if eyes start appearing and it starts swallowing me whole. I guess that's a good cue to like do something.
I will
Okay.
look into the thing with you.
You know
Yes.
when somebody starts shaking violently?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably a good cue.
When you're having a seizure, that's
Yeah.
probably too late.
Yes,
That's
we will also
maybe-
look into it with you, but we won't be scrying. We will just look at if eyes appear.
Yeah, let me do that, just in case.
Sure.
We'll need you to resurrect him if it goes wrong.
Yikes.
Yes.
Okay.
And
I
the rest
see,
have
I'm not
spells
wanted
that can
here.
help, and I'm hearty.
There's one more thing I will do. I will ask Morden kindly if he can protect me during this scrying.
Tell him I said hi, then he will definitely help you.
You have to do that yourself. You're here now as well, anyways.
You're directly asking him.
Yeah, but I guess you could do that as well.
Okay, you
Go
do
for
it,
it.
and
Sure,
I'll just say next to you.
Ah, 91.
You're level 91, right?
I'm like 100.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That does not seem. There seems to be even less of a response than there is normally when you get rejected.
It's probably the anti-divination thing.
Probably this thing.
Yeah.
That must be.
Must be it.
Yeah. Well, it's a goddess. Maybe we should do it tomorrow then. Anyway.
Wanna wait another day?
I'm just saying that.
Why are you chickening out of it?
It's okay.
Well, you guys are not really capable.
It's
No,
okay.
we're not. So we're relying on you. And maybe I could, but I rely on you because you can prepare those shit for the.
It's okay if you want to wait another day.
No, he's going to do it today.
It's okay if he wants to wait another day.
No, we want to.
Yes!
What are we gonna do this whole day?
I don't know, figure it out.
No, please,
This is a
mate.
whole new city.
That's like, what if it takes like statistically it would take like how many days?
It's like
Like
10%
Someone
chance
needs
for
to give you a
1 in
little
10.
push, and I'm here to push you over the edge.
It's like it's like 10 days roughly. Like, is that something we can wait on?
No,
Oh, okay, I'll do it.
get
If
over
Kieran
it.
If
really
I
needs your
die,
help.
I'll
tell
bring you
my
back.
parents I love them.
I'll bring you back.
Who are your parents?
Right.
Well,
I have met his parents, don't worry.
yeah.
you'll know their last name.
Yes. I'll tell your parents that you love
Junior?
They all saw.
Yes.
Well, my father is called George.
That's not
I
confusing at
wouldn't
all.
think his name would be
okay.
My
George.
mother is
I
Donna.
mean, we have
You
met
should tell
George's
Maurice, Stoneheart and Heavy Stoneheart. Oh, my nephew. And
How-
tell them that I and bring the hammer to them and stuff.
Well, it
Yes,
would be
of
a
course.
lot if
I
you-
have an
you would
important
need to tell my
question.
family I'm dead.
How do
If
you
you
have
tell
a
all of them.
nephew if they can only have one child? Because that means that there has to be siblings.
Yeah.
How does
So-
that work?
That is the reason why we wanted to let you adopt her so you would have a descendant.
Well, here's how that works. Dwarfs get really old. And so generational gaps are there, so we still have multiple families.
Still don't understand, but go. I'll tell them all that you love them. I'll bring your hammer to them.
Do you think your parents are capable of getting another child when you die?
Not sure what the rules are, but I think
That's
so.
so rude to say.
I'm just
That's a
wondering.
question. That's just so unruly.
I'm just wondering, how old are they?
It's okay.
They're old.
Nobody's.
Actually,
How
they're
old
not.
are your parents? Are they my age?
I think they're younger.
So you're like a grandmom.
This is
Like, you
really.
could be my dad.
Okay, please stop. This is really disturbing me. Go ahead. I'll handle all the family stuff if everything goes wrong, but I'll bring you
Well,
back.
Yeah,
if,
let
So-
someone
if
else
they're
look
younger
into the
than you
smoke.
are, then they
You're
should
gonna,
be able to
okay,
get
so
another
you're
child.
gonna cast scrying.
Yes.
Is anybody else doing anything?
I'm gonna be behind him.
Yeah,
I'm gonna like feel his pulse
sure.
and
Yeah, but-
look into the.
If it stops, that's a good indicator. I'm
Yeah, no,
kidding.
exactly. If I don't feel a pulse anymore, I'll pull him out.
That's definitely
Sure.
too late though. That's
Okay, so
I
you're
mean, it's something. I don't know what you want me to
so
do.
you're behind him, checking for a pulse.
I'm-
Very well.
And
I'm
I
there
want to
in
look
front of
into
him.
the. I'll be standing behind
Sure.
him.
I'm there in front of him, just there to heal him if he needs to.
Okay. Zero, you doing anything else?
I'm standing next to him, also looking into it.
Have you cast 8 at this point? I'm assuming you do.
Yeah.
Angie, is there anything you're doing?
I mean, I'll just. I'll guess I'll wait. Should something happen?
She'll
Sure.
watch.
Bess, anything you're doing?
And do shit.
Okay, very well. So you cast scrying. I would like for everybody else to leave.
Ah.
So you cast scrying with a -4 because you have something of his.
I can see. I'll see you on the other side.
Let's see.
I need you to mute. Or I can. Yeah, I need you. No, I need her to mute her headphones. But I can also just mute ourselves here. So. Oh, she has muted her headphones. Yeah. Okay. So, you dive back into this crying spell. This time, you are from the point where you at. You are just jettisoned into the sky, just with this like extreme burst of energy, just up. You immediately begin to. You're already part way enveloped in the smoke. Like the smoke is like a rocket that just sends you off, right? From that you curve in a northeastern direction is more and more. You see your vision become kind of curled around more and more. Like the darkness comes around further and further. Eventually, you begin to see the deserts that turn back more into a Badlands area, and there's the darkness on your peripheral vision, and there begins to come this yellowish reddish glow. And in the distance, you begin to see a structure. Something of a large pyramid, but rather than a pyramid that's simply for decorations or just other like a temple or the sphinxes have less those purposes and more like a fortress. It has a thick, strong base with small towers on it and walls. And around it, you see that walls are partially there as ruins, but you notice that everything is under construction. Like there's just like stijgers. I don't know what they're called in English, but there's catwalks everywhere, and you see like a massive amount of smaller creatures under and around. You begin to go closer and closer to this pyramid, to this fortress, and you begin to just dive towards what the outer wall of the building. And the moment you would make contact with it, there's these two yellow eyes and a mouth of fire that just kind of bursts into your face. At that point, you are jettisoned out of your scrying spell. That's where it ends for you.
Right. There's no saves or anything you have to make?
Nope. Not at that point. That just happens when you enter into that stage.
Do I have to leave now? Or...
Yep. Angie, you're good. Let's see if she notices me being weird. Hey, you're back. Yeah, there you go. You can unmute now. Hey, everybody else.
So you first let him go all the way back to here, and then you let him come all the way back to here.
No, I just realized he can stay. He can stay around.
You just instantly roll for new characters. It's better if I'm there, I guess.
Yeah, it's easier if you're here. You can immediately roll for
It
stats.
really sucks if you like kill me without me.
But he's not killed, right?
I mean, we don't know. Do I feel his pulse stop?
I hope.
Might be dead.
Well,
I hope not. Otherwise, we should come up
So,
with a new song.
I can and will cast Revivify.
you guys are all standing there, prepared and ready.
Yeah.
He casts the spell, and there's first like whitish steam coming up from the cauldron, like normally, that immediately turns into a familiar burst of shadow that just blasts him in the face. George begins to immediately leak shadow, like before, out of the ears, eyes, nostrils, and mouth, just all at once. And in a split second, this is all begins to accumulate. And the burst, like it's hitting the roof, and it's like pulsing off to the sides before that all disappears in 1 second. Before the cauldron you use shatters and explodes. At which point you come back to consciousness, and all of you are pushed back about 10 feet. The shadow kind of like enveloping the whole room, leaving you all in most of the darkness. Before it begins to pull together, and in the center of the room, there's this large shadow-like entity with these like horns on the side, a flattened face, two wings on either side that just screeches out towards all of you. And that's where we're going to be ending tonight's session.
Okay.
That's what happens in an instant. That would have maybe been 5 seconds.
Damn.
What happened to George?
You're pushed back, you're conscious, you're a little dazed, your cauldron is destroyed, sadly.
Oh, thanks, guys.
Sue the demon.
But that's what happened.
Yeah, they go to the 9 hells.
So,
Yes, this is only logical. Like, they'll sue him.
with that,
And it's double.
Obligated him.
thank you guys for coming out to play the Cypher. Thank you guys for coming out to watch, whether you did that here on YouTube or later when we uploaded it to YouTube, I guess. We'll be back again next week with a brand new episode where we're going to be picking it up right here at the end of this scrying spell. So, thank you for coming out, and we will see you in the next one. Goodbye!